There is a part of you that has been waiting quietly, patiently for this very moment. A part that has watched you move through your days, carrying burdens that were never yours to carry, speaking to yourself in ways you would never speak to anyone you loved. This part knows something essential, that somewhere along the way, in the rush and noise of becoming who you thought you needed to be, you forgot to love yourself. Not because you were careless or weak, but because you were human. Because life taught you to look outward for validation, to measure your worth by standards that shifted like sand, to believe that love was something you earned rather than something you already were. And now, in this tender space we share, you have the opportunity to forgive that forgetting, to meet yourself with the compassion that has been waiting in the wings of your consciousness, ready to flood every corner of your being the moment you open the door. The forgetting did not happen all at once. It came in small moments, quiet compromises, barely perceptible shifts in how you held yourself. Perhaps it began in childhood when someone's careless words landed in your heart and took root, whispering that you were too much or not enough. Perhaps it came later when disappointment taught you to brace against life rather than flow with it, when heartbreak convinced you that your love was dangerous or foolish. The mind, in its infinite creativity, began building walls. It constructed elaborate systems of protection, intricate patterns of behavior designed to keep you safe from rejection, abandonment, criticism. These defenses were acts of survival, and they served you in their time. But somewhere in the architecture of all that protecting, you locked yourself out of your own heart. You built the walls so high that even you could not see over them to remember the tender being inside who simply wanted to be held, to be seen, to be loved without condition or performance. The beautiful truth is that these patterns were never your fault. They were the mind's best attempt to navigate a world that often felt unsafe, unpredictable, overwhelming. When you were small and your needs went unmet, when your feelings were dismissed or your authentic self was criticized, your psyche did what it needed to do to help you survive. It learned to hide the parts of you that seemed unwelcome. It developed strategies for gaining approval, for minimizing pain, for keeping you functioning even when your heart was breaking. And in that process, so necessary at the time, you learned to abandon yourself before others could abandon you. You learned to criticize yourself before others could criticize you. You learned to withhold your own love, rationing it out only when you deemed yourself worthy, which was almost never. This is not a story of failure. This is a story of a brilliant, adaptive consciousness doing everything it could to keep you alive and moving forward. And now, from this place of greater awareness, you can honor that effort while also recognizing that you no longer need those old defenses. You can thank them for their service and gently set them down. Let yourself become aware right now of where you are holding tension in your body. Notice your shoulders, your jaw, the space between your eyebrows. These places where you clench and brace are where the forgetting lives. Your body has been carrying the weight of self-abandonment, holding itself in readiness for the next blow, the next disappointment, the next moment when you will judge yourself harshly and find yourself lacking. But your body also remembers something your mind forgot. Your cells hold the memory of your original wholeness, the time before you learned to divide yourself into acceptable and unacceptable parts. Every breath you take is an affirmation of your right to exist exactly as you are. Your heart beats without your permission, without your effort, without requiring you to earn its rhythm. Your lungs fill and empty in a sacred exchange with the world, receiving and releasing, trusting the very air to sustain you. This is the wisdom your body holds, that you are already participating in an extraordinary dance of giving and receiving, and you do not need to prove your worthiness to be part of it. Take a slow breath now, and as you exhale, imagine releasing just a fraction of the effort it takes to hold yourself to impossible standards. Feel what it would be like to soften, even slightly, the grip of the inner voice that catalogs your failures and measures your inadequacies. That voice, harsh and unrelenting, is not the voice of truth. It is the voice of old fear, old pain, old programming that taught you love was conditional and must be earned through perfection. But perfection is not the gateway to love. Perfection is the barrier you constructed to keep yourself from the very thing you most long for. The inner critic believes it is protecting you, keeping you small and controlled so you will not risk the vulnerability of being fully seen. It thinks that if it can just get you to be good enough, work hard enough, look right enough, then finally you will be safe from judgment and rejection. But this is a fool's errand, a hamster wheel of striving that leads nowhere but exhaustion. The critic cannot love you into wholeness. Only you can do that by recognizing its voice as the frightened child it is and choosing moment by moment to speak to yourself differently. What would change if you began talking to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply cherished? If you offered yourself the same patience you extend to a friend who is struggling, the same encouragement you give to a child learning something new. The language you use inside your own mind creates the reality you inhabit. When you tell yourself you are broken, stupid, unlovable, your entire being contracts around those words. Your energy drops, your possibilities narrow, your world becomes smaller. But when you choose words of kindness, when you acknowledge your efforts and honor your journey, something shifts. The tightness in your chest loosens. Your breathing deepens. You remember that you are not a problem to be solved, but a soul having a human experience, doing the best you can with the awareness and resources available to you in each moment. This does not mean you bypass genuine reflection or avoid taking responsibility for your actions. It means you approach yourself with the fundamental understanding that you are worthy of love, not because of what you do, but because of what you are. You are a unique expression of life itself, unrepeatable and irreplaceable, and that alone makes you precious beyond measure. Begin to practice noticing when the old harsh voice arises, and instead of believing it or fighting it, simply observe it with curiosity. You might even say internally, "There is that old pattern again, trying to keep me small and safe." And then, with great tenderness, you might offer yourself something different. You might say, "I am learning, I am growing, I am doing my best, and my best is enough." You might say, "I honor the journey I have been on and trust the unfolding that is still to come." You might say, "I forgive myself for the times I forgot my own preciousness. I am remembering now." These are not empty affirmations designed to paint over genuine pain. They are true statements that realign you with reality, with the deeper truth that exists beneath the conditioned mind's fearful chatter. Every time you choose a kinder thought, you are literally rewiring your neural pathways, creating new grooves in your consciousness that make self-love more accessible, more automatic, more natural. Forgiveness is not something you do once and check off a list. It is a practice, a continual returning to compassion when you notice you have strayed into self-judgment. It is the act of releasing yourself from the prison of resentment, not resentment toward others, but resentment toward yourself for not being different, better, more evolved than you are. So much of your suffering comes from arguing with reality, from insisting that you should have known better, done better, been better in the past. But you could not have been other than you were in those moments. You were operating with the consciousness you had then, shaped by all the experiences and conditioning that preceded that moment. To punish yourself now for not having awareness you had not yet developed is a form of cruelty that serves no one. Forgiveness is the radical act of accepting that you were always doing the best you could with what you knew and who you were at the time. It is meeting your past self with the same compassion you would offer to anyone who was struggling, confused, or in pain. As you begin to soften toward yourself, as you practice this forgiveness daily and hourly, something remarkable begins to happen in your external world. The relationships that once felt strained or difficult start to shift. Not because the other people change necessarily, but because you are no longer projecting your own self-rejection onto them. You are no longer so easily triggered by criticism because you are not constantly criticizing yourself. You are no longer desperately seeking validation because you are learning to validate your own experience. You are no longer tolerating mistreatment because you are no longer mistreating yourself. The quality of love you offer yourself becomes the standard for what you accept from the world. And as you raise that standard internally, your external circumstances begin to reflect it back to you. This is not magic, though it can feel miraculous. It is simply the natural consequence of aligning your inner reality with your deepest truth. When you stop abandoning yourself, you stop attracting situations and people who abandon you. When you stop betraying yourself by ignoring your needs and boundaries, you stop finding yourself in relationships where betrayal is the norm. Your external world is always a mirror of your internal landscape. Notice how you move through your days. Are you rushing, pushing, forcing yourself through tasks with an undercurrent of pressure and judgment? Are you telling yourself you should be further along, more accomplished, more healed than you are? This urgency, this constant sense of not enoughness, is exhausting. It drains your life force and keeps you from being present to the beauty and opportunity available right now. What if you decided, just for today, to move through your life as though you were already loved? Not loved because you finished everything on your list, or met everyone's expectations, or finally achieved that goal you have been chasing, but loved simply because you exist, because you are breathing, because you are here showing up for your life even when it is hard. Feel what shifts in your body when you allow that possibility. Feel how your shoulders drop, how your breath deepens, how something in you that has been braced for decades begins, ever so slightly, to relax. You might try standing in front of a mirror and looking into your own eyes. This can feel confronting at first because you are not accustomed to meeting yourself with full presence. You are used to glancing quickly, assessing, finding fault, looking away. But what if you stayed? What if you looked into your own eyes with the same tenderness you would bring to a beloved friend or a small child? What if you said out loud, "I see you. I am here with you. You are not alone." The first few times you attempt this, you might feel awkward or emotional. You might cry. You might feel a rush of grief for all the years you spent looking away from yourself, treating your own reflection as an enemy or a disappointment. Let those feelings come. They are the ice of the frozen heart beginning to thaw, and thawing always involves some discomfort before the flow returns. Stay with yourself through it. Keep show. Wing up at that mirror. Keep speaking words of love and acceptance. Keep practicing the radical act of being present to your own being. Over time, something fundamental shifts. You begin to recognize yourself not as a collection of flaws and failures, but as a whole person deserving of kindness. And from that recognition, everything else begins to change. Establish small rituals that anchor you in this practice of remembering. Perhaps each morning, before you reach for your phone or jump into the demands of the day, you place your hand on your heart and take 3 conscious breaths. Perhaps you silently say, "I am here for myself today. I will not abandon myself today." Perhaps in moments of stress or difficulty, you pause and ask, "What would love do right now? How would I treat myself if I truly believed I was worthy of care?" Perhaps you keep a small journal where you write each evening one thing you appreciate about yourself, not something you accomplished, but something about who you are. Maybe it is your willingness to keep trying. Maybe it is your sense of humor. Maybe it is the way you showed up for a friend or the gentleness you brought to a difficult conversation. These small acts of noticing, of consciously directing your attention toward your own goodness, begin to tip the scales. For years, your attention has been trained on what is wrong, what is lacking, what needs fixing. Now you are teaching your mind to look for what is right, what is already whole, what has always been worthy of love. The truth that lives at the center of your being, beneath all the conditioning and fear and forgetting, is this: you have never not been loved. The universe that breathed you into existence did not make a mistake. The force that keeps your heart beating and your blood flowing and the stars wheeling in their courses did not create you as an afterthought or an error. You are an intentional expression of life, as necessary to the whole as any other part of creation. The love you seek is not somewhere outside you, waiting to be earned or granted by the right person or circumstance. It is the very substance of your being, the ground from which you arose and to which you will return. You cannot be separate from it any more than a wave can be separate from the ocean. What you have experienced as separation, as unworthiness, as not enoughness, is simply a forgetting, a temporary obscuration, like clouds passing across the sun. The sun does not cease to exist because clouds block your view of it, and your essential lovability does not cease to exist because you have temporarily forgotten how to access it. Every moment is an opportunity to remember. Every breath is a chance to come home to yourself. You do not need to wait until you are healed, fixed, perfected, or transformed. You can begin right now, exactly as you are, to extend to yourself the compassion and acceptance you have been withholding. You can forgive the part of you that forgot to love by loving yourself now. You can forgive the harshness by choosing gentleness. You can forgive the abandonment by showing up again and again with presence and care. This is not a destination you arrive at someday in the future. It is a practice you engage in moment by moment, breath by breath, choice by choice. And each time you choose love over judgment, presence over dissociation, kindness over criticism, you strengthen that rail pathway. You make it easier for the next loving choice. You build momentum in the direction of your own wholeness. There will be days when you forget again, days when the old patterns reassert themselves with surprising force, when the critic is loud and the fear is overwhelming, when you look in the mirror and see only flaws. This is not failure. This is the nature of being human. You are not meant to be in a state of constant bliss or unwavering self-love. You are meant to have the full range of human experience, including doubt, struggle, and difficulty. But now you have something you did not have before. You have the awareness that there is another way. You have the practice of returning to kindness. You have the memory, even if faint, of what it feels like to treat yourself with love. And so, when you forget, you do not spiral into self-recrimination about forgetting. You simply notice, I forgot, and now I remember again. And you begin again, without drama or judgment, the practice of being gentle with yourself. Imagine what becomes possible as you continue this practice over weeks, months, years. Imagine the energy that becomes available when you are no longer using it to wage war against yourself. Imagine the creativity that emerges when you are no longer editing yourself into acceptability. Imagine the joy that flows when you are no longer withholding it until you meet some arbitrary standard. Imagine the relationships that deepen when you are no longer performing for approval, but simply showing up as you are. Imagine the peace that settles over your life when you stop arguing with reality and start embracing your humanity. This is not a fantasy or wishful thinking. This is what naturally occurs when you align yourself with the truth of your being. The universe is not neutral. It is tilted toward growth, toward healing, toward love. When you stop fight, ting that current, and allow yourself to be carried by it, life becomes not easier necessarily, but richer, more meaningful, more real. You are not broken and in need of fixing. You are whole and in process of remembering. Every experience you have had, every mistake you have made, every moment you judge as failure or inadequacy has been part of your becoming. You are exactly where you need to be, learning exactly what you need to learn, unfolding exactly as you must. There is no race, no competition, no timeline you are behind on. There is only your unique path, your singular journey, your irreplaceable contribution to the tapestry of existence. And the most important thing you can offer to yourself and to the world is your own presence, not your perfection, not your performance, not your pretense that you have it all figured out, but your authentic, vulnerable, beautifully imperfect presence. This is what the world needs. This is what you need. And this is what becomes possible when you forgive the part of you that forgot to love and remember who you have always been beneath the forgetting. Let these words settle into your body like seeds into fertile soil. You do not need to make anything happen. You do not need to force or strive or push. You simply need to tend to yourself with consistency and care, watering those seeds with your attention, giving them the light of your awareness, trusting that in their own time and their own way, they will sprout and grow and bear fruit. You are the gardener and the garden. You are the one who plants and the one who blooms. And the love you cultivate within yourself will spill out into every area of your life, transforming not through force, but through the natural overflow of a heart that has finally, mercifully, gratefully come home to itself. This is your birthright. This is your truth. This is what has been waiting for you all along, in the stillness beneath the noise, in the peace beneath the striving, in the love that never left but only waited for you to remember it was there